Well, welcome everyone to KWS Tonight, another exciting edition of our show tonight. The Fernley edition, George. Two big nights of racing this Friday and Saturday.
We want to tell the people about what's happening at Fernley. I mean, but there's more. It seems like every week, Dan Simpson and the crew adding something special. A concert Saturday night.
Right.
And a party Friday night at the Nugget.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a full weekend of entertainment.
This is the first of 5 weekends of action at the Reno Tahoe FERNLEY Speedway. Now, remember, we'll also be at the Rattlesnake Raceway on 2 occasions, but the amount of money on the line this weekend, I mean, never before seen in Northern Auto Racing Club Golden State Challenger King of the West history.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk a little bit about that later tonight. On tonight's show, we'll also present an interview with 2004 Golden State champion, the big guy, Jason Stattler. Made the trip up to Grass Valley and interviewed Jason Stattler at Nevada City Auto Service.
First time I've been there, I believe. First time you've been there too.
Beautiful setting.
Yeah, I love Grass Valley.
Hey,
beautiful place.
If I wanted to work in an automotive shop, that's the place to be, right in the middle of the big trees up in the mountains. Man, that was cool.
And we had a great night last Saturday at the Salute to Baylands in Petaluma, our first event there in over 3 years. Just a great night, great main event, and the highlight package that Brandon put together really documents that main event. Willie Croft, Jonathan Allard. There were some intense moments there.
And that is going to be at the start of something big, the Salute to Baylands. I think that we kicked it off with a meet party. We'll talk to you about it. Brandon did some great video of a lot of the interviews and drivers that were there. This is going to be the start of something big. I think this is going to grow into being a major event on our schedule each year.
Yeah, it really is, and we're going to have, like I said, the great highlight package coming up later. But something else we're excited about is our Friday night fan party at the John Esquaga's Nugget following the races this Friday night, George. I mean, we got drinks, food, music, fun. What more can you want?
They're saying about 11:30, they're going to open the room, and it's the room at, I can't pronounce the name of that, Osaki restaurant, or whatever it's called. Mike Milligan's going to be calling me saying, now you got to learn how to pronounce that restaurant.
You got to be cultured, George.
That leaves me out. And it's going to be great. The fans, the drivers, the officials all going to make their way after the races. We've got a 10 o'clock end time on our schedule.
Right.
We hope to be
Trying
finished.
to get done early for the fans.
10 o'clock. And then make your way at 11 o'clock, no problem getting to the Nugget. Everybody staying there. And it'll be fun to have some autographs, fun. Then after that, go out and play and enjoy the nightlife at the Nugget.
We don't get those chances anymore to hang out with everyone after the races. You know, it seemed like, I know, going back to Baylands days where I used to hang out and party after the races, but that's something that Dan Simpson and the whole staff up there have kind of wanted to put in place with the Nugget, is to try to get that camaraderie back, and we're excited about it. There's driver autographs, and everybody will be there.
Yeah, we talked about it last week about Baylands and how the parties after the races were neat. And this is a little nicer deal. We're not out in the pits. We're in the nice confines of the Nugget, and it's going to be a fun night. We're going to talk a little more about that as well. And now it's time to hear about the RTF Speedway and what's happening this weekend.
Get ready for the very first two-night King of the West 410 Sprint Car Series shootout on May 17th and 18th. May 17th and 18th at the new Reno Tahoe FERNLEY Speedway in Fernley, Nevada. From Reno, take away 80 east to exit 46 towards Fernley.
Hey, welcome back. Hey, Gary, voice sounds very familiar on that commercial.
That's the golden tones of Gary Thomas, I think.
Yep. Wow.
Let's give you a little taste of what to expect this weekend.
Wait a minute. I think Brandon had a lot to do in making you sound good.
He did have a lot to do with it. Okay. We want to thank Brandon for that great commercial, but we talked about it a little bit before. The Salute to Baylands last Saturday night turned out to be just a great night of paying tribute to a very famous track and some great days gone by.
So yeah, it was fun to see the fans, a lot of the drivers. We mentioned the list earlier. All World of Outlaw winners: Tim Green, Lee James, Jimmy Sills. It was just amazing.
Yeah, pretty phenomenal. Some of the names that we had there, and it was something. Our next, getting into this, our winner, Willie Croft, of course, very fitting to see the 3C end up in victory lane. But in the interview, Willie Croft talked about how special it was to win with all those names there. Somebody that could really respect Baylands.
I think one of the first things I said when you went down to the interviews, you passed me in the booth. I said, "Wow, how apropos! The 3C, the '84 championship car from Baylands, wins the first ever tribute to Baylands." That was pretty like a Hollywood script.
It really was, and I mean, talk about the role Willie Croft's on. 2 wins now with the King of the West Series, but we talked about earlier, 2 wins outside of the King of the West Series, so 4 wins total for Double Down, and just the hottest start of his career. He and Lee Lindgren have absolutely meshed together, and he's going to be one to beat at Fernley.
This is the greatest start he's ever had, and you could tell. I think there was a picture you posted up on Hose Heads of him holding the Placerville flag, and kind of like pointing at the car, and his smile. I don't know if it couldn't get any bigger.
I know.
I heard it might be bigger this coming Sunday.
It could be getting married, of course.
This Sunday.
Congratulations to Double Down
and Samantha.
And Samantha, yeah.
And finally, they're going to tie it up.
Finally, exactly.
We took a little prodding, I think.
Right.
We fought and got him to set the date.
You talk about another guy that had a great run Saturday. John Allard battled neck and neck with Willie Croft, as we'll see on those highlights.
Wow.
Jonathan, has had some bad luck to start the season, but that was his best finish of the year with the King of the West Series, and he's going to be a guy definitely gunning for victory lane at Fernley. Talk about our point leader now, Rico Avery.
Wow. What can you say about this young man? 3 years in sprint car racing. He won last year already in his second year. He's leading the points for the first time in his career, 21 years old. This guy is amazing. Think about the maturity level this year. I mean, we talked about it too, about his outlaw kart days where he was one of those guys, kind of a wind-me-up guy, and then kind of brought that to sprint car racing. And then, he had some crashes, had some growing pains, but I think him and Paul Silva really gelled this season, and you can see the maturity level behind the wheel of Rico. And I think, Paul Silva is a big part of that equation. I think Paul has taken Rico under his wing and has really mentored him into driving, how to wait and have patience. And you can see that in he's using the throttle, the control is better. I mean, it's only going to get bigger and better for Rico Avery.
Yeah, definitely. So it's always nice to have Shane Golovic on hand with us, fourth place in the main event, and his dad was a former Baylands driver.
He came out of the box strong this year, winning the World of Outlaw race,
Right.
I mean, when he shows up, he's going to be in the podium.
Definitely. Another young kid that's just been turning some heads lately, Dominic Selzy.
Best finish of his career with KWS, a 5th place finish. His mother was right in front of us in the booth, and I thought she was going to come unglued.
The kid just turned 16.
I know. It's fifth place finish, first top 5. Another kid that's going to be amazing. Yeah. Hey, the big guy, we talked to him. He put on a show.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah. And I'll tell you, Jason, that's another one that had just rotten luck to start the season. And 15th to 6th, great to see him have a strong run, earning the Hard Charger Award. And speaking of Jason Stattler, it's a guy that you got to look at Fernley. It's been a few years since Jason has won a race, but it's kind of a neutral playground this weekend.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that just a little bit. This is like the first time they've seen a racetrack. Everybody starts with the equal playing field, like you said. So I think everybody's equal.
We could see a surprise winner. Yeah, we could see a surprise winner.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Compton come alive on a different type of racetrack. I think he's another guy that could come around. He's been doing great this year.
Yeah, right. He's top 10 in points. Very solid for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we talk about Jason Stattler and that run from 50 to 6. Let's take a look. I can say it too. That's why I'm not announcing anymore, Gary. Let's take a look at this. The highlights from Brandon Skaggs.
King of the West Series event at Petaluma Speedway on May 11th marked the very first winged 410 sprint car event at the sticky 3/8 mile Gumbo Clay Oval since 2010, and everyone really was looking forward to the night. The evening's action started off with a vintage Baylands Raceway Park autograph session. The autograph session featured 13-time King of the West champion Brent Kading, also a National Sprint Car Hall of Fame member, along with sprint car veteran Lee James, former World of Outlaw driver, the Rim Rider, Chuck Gurney, another famous driver from Baylands Raceway Park days gone by, former car owner Paul Torzilli was also in the house, along with the Professor Jimmy Sills, the all-time leader in wins at the Baylands Raceway Park. And of course, the one, the only David Vaughn, former manager and announcer at the Baylands Raceway Park. He's also driven a sprint car a time or two in his day. And of course, George Hay, former Baylands Raceway Park announcer and sponsorship advertising guru. And former flagman at the Baylands Raceway Park, Willie Williams, stood atop the flag stand for the night to commemorate the salute to Baylands.
One of the young rising lions across the country. Next up, out of Oklahoma, this is Christopher Bell.
both Jonathan Allard and Rico Weber through lap traffic, double down with a smooth final 5 laps to pick up his 5th career King of the West Sprint Car Series victory and the 2nd win this season for car owners Clyde and Marion Lamar. Finishing 2nd was Jonathan Allard, and 3rd went to Rico Weber.
Machine team coming, Lee lingering. Here comes the Willie Croft, 2nd win of the season for the Tri-C Machine team in King of the West competition.
And I couldn't ask for a better car. This thing, I can go anywhere I wanted to. It's awesome. Thanks to my whole crew, Clyde, Marion, everybody who's involved in this whole deal, man. We're working hard and it's paying off. Having a lot of fun. Definitely seeing the likes of, Jimmy Seals, Chuck Harvey, Tim Green, even Clyde Lamar. I mean, all these guys, I sat in the stands and watched everybody go around, and man, to actually win in front of them and this kind of passion here, passing John Allard back, I mean, that's not easy to do, and we did it, and man, I'm loving it. Like I said before, they gave me a great opportunity to drive the car, and I'm just trying to make the best of it. Man, it's so much fun. It's so much more relaxing to do it this way, and hopefully we can just continue on and win some races. And
the reason we do good is because it's a badass track, and we love these fans. They're always passionate, and I'll tell you what, it's great to be back after this many years. Hopefully your promoter sees the fact that it was a great race, and hopefully we get to come back, because I love coming here. Every time you come here, there's 2 groups. There's the bottom, there's the top. If you're daring enough, you get up top, and once I got up in the seat a bit, we got going up top. We just couldn't get enough lap traffic to get it going, and we had a bad start there, so that put us back a couple cars. But we're looking forward to coming back, and that's what we want to do. Hopefully, you guys all come to the pits and get an autograph. And thank you guys for spending your hard-earned money being here.
Yeah, I'm glad. I just got to thank all you fans for hanging in there with this cold weather. It was pretty cool to podium here a few times in King of the West. Working hard. Still here with Malice, working on my car, Willie Croft, good job. The top 3 hours, good.
Well, there you have it, everyone. A great highlight package put together by Brandon Skaggs, documenting that great battle in the main event. Willie Croft, John Allard, Rico Weber, and a host of others.
The only thing that was disappointing for me, Gary, is I don't look as thin as I was when I was at Baylands, and there has to be something with the camera angle.
It could be. Dad, the camera had weight.
Yeah. I saw Dave Button had his Baylands jacket and shirt on. Mine must have shrunk. It just won't go on me anymore.
Well, hey, we definitely want to thank Stu Soares for all the hospitality. Rick Faith, Ron Lingberg in the booth, the whole staff of Petaluma was great to work with, and we're excited about next year.
Absolutely. It was great. I mean, the racetrack was hooked up.
Yep.
Just like they promised. It was going to be a hooked up racetrack, and by the main event, it was hooked up.
Now, hey, we talked about Jason Stattler so far, the hard charger last week, but throughout his career, there hasn't been many bigger supporters of 410 sprint car racing throughout the western United States than Jason Stattler, Dave Rios, and that whole 00 gang.
And Mark Briscoe's been with him since day one. I mean, this is I don't know, a fixture in West Coast sprint car racing. I mean, he's a World of Outlaw winner. He's champion, Golden State champion. He is a nice guy.
Very nice guy. Yep.
Yeah.
We've been meaning to sit down with him for the last couple of years. Finally had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to head up to Grass Valley, and here's the first part of our 2-part interview with Jason Stattler. Been trying to come up here the last couple of years. Finally got a chance to do so. So thank you for taking time. We know you guys are real busy here.
Yeah. Well, glad you guys made it up. Been looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is a beautiful area up here in Grass Valley, Nevada City. You've been up here for a few years now, I think. Ben, how is it different from living down in Los Gatos and the San Jose area?
It's quite a bit different. Me and my wife like it. She grew up here, so she moved to San Jose with me for a little while and said she wasn't staying there. So, we ended up moving up here, and we enjoy it.
Hey, you work up here with your father-in-law, Pat Harvey, in Nevada City Auto Sports. How's it working? He's a competitor. He's a father-in-law, and you're working together.
Yeah, no, it's good. We obviously we both enjoy the sport. I try and help him out. He helps me out. Obviously he's into the sport, so he knows what it takes, and gives me some days off to go racing, so that always helps out.
That's boss you can have.
Yeah, can't beat that.
I think we got one of our viewer questions now, Jason. This comes from Jim King, one of our fans. He says, growing up, who were some of your racing heroes, and did you always want to be a sprint car driver?
Racing heroes, I'd have to say guys like Hewitt, Hoggenchild, Steve Kinzer. Steve Kinzer was probably my biggest hero growing up. And I grew up around the sport. out at the old San Jose Speedway, the asphalt track. My dad worked on super modifieds out there. That's where I spent my weekends, and that's where I spent my weeks. Sit out in the front yard while he was working on the race car. And
you never get away from it.
Play with my Hot Wheels. So yeah, I didn't know any different.
Hey, you and your 00 sprint cars have been a staple in Northern California sprint car racing for like 20 years now. For our fans, what was your first year driving like? Out there on the road, or so to speak. Was it as glamorous as we all think that first year is?
The first year?
First year.
It was interesting. It was fun. We had a good time. You know, when we first started racing, it was just a bunch of high school kids. You know, really didn't know what we were doing. Just knew we had a sprint car and we were ready to go. So we started out at San Jose Speedway. I remember one of my first hot lap sessions, thought I was hauling ass. I was good. And then I think Pat Rose and somebody else, one drove by the inside of me, one drove by the outside of me. I was like, wow, I guess I'm not going that fast. But it was fun. We had a good time.
Let's talk a little bit about your parents, Bob and Carolyn. Those two are, a familiar sight for anyone that's been a fan of the sport for 20 plus years. How much has their support meant to you over the years? I know they're great people, absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, they when we first started racing, I mean it was them and my grandmother. It was they pretty much gave up a lot of stuff to get me going. They sat me down and said, listen, if this is what you want to do, then let's go ahead and do this. And at some point you're gonna have to pick it up and run with it. But they gave it everything they had to get me up on my feet, and get a race car and motors, and get us to the racetrack, every week.
And if you want to look for a party in the campground, you go see Bob and Carolyn. That's where it's happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, one of the marquee wins in your career, of course, came in 1999 down at Santa Maria, another track that we're returning to this year, the World of Outlaws. You passed Steve Kinzer in the main event. You talked that was one of your heroes, but how big was that win for you? I mean, sure, it was huge and everything, but that had to be just a magical night for you.
Yeah, it's something I still think about today. You can't take that away. Especially to be able to pass a guy like Steve and do what we did. I still can't believe it. I can remember the last 5 laps of the main event being the longest 5 laps of my life. So yeah, it's hard enough. It's hard to win. It's hard to win anywhere in the country, really. Right. And then to be able to say you won an Outlaw show is pretty special.
And held off Steve Kinzer in his prime. What were you thinking those last 5? I mean, what was going through your mind? Steve Kinzer's behind you. You got 5 laps to go. I mean, yeah, you're trying to hit your marks, but I mean, what else are you thinking about? Everything's going wrong with the car.
Yeah, you hear noises. You think the motor's missing. You think the tire's going flat. The front wing feels like it fell off. So there's a bunch of stuff going on.
Well, hey, I think we're going to take a commercial break and come back with more with 2004 King of the West champion Jason Stattler.
Very first two-night King of the West 410 Sprint Car Series shootout on May 17th and 18th. May 17th and 18th at the new Reno Tahoe FERNLEY Speedway in Fernley, Nevada. Come see sprint car superstars including National Sprint Car Hall of Fame member Brent Kading, defending King of the West Jonathan Allard, along with Jason Stattler, Kyle Hurst, Rico Abreu, and many more during Summit Night at the races. From Reno, take Highway 80 east to exit 46 towards Fernley.
Welcome back to KWS Tonight. We're with the driver of the DF Rios 00, Jason Stattler. And Jason, let's fast forward to 2004. You won the Golden State King of the West Championship. Pretty magical year for the team. Any special moments that stuck out for that year?
The whole year was great. Everything fell into place. Everything went the way that we needed it to go. Which is pretty much what you need to have when you have a championship year. Sponsors were great. Crew was great. We didn't have car failures, motor failures, everything we seem to have had ever since.
Was there one specific race that you went to and said, man, this is my year, I got a chance of winning this championship?
I don't think I ever really thought that. till maybe, I think it was Friday night at Chico, or Saturday at Chico when we made made the main event, you know, because basically it pretty much came down to that. You know, there was, I think Andy ran second in the points chase that year.
Yeah, Forsberg, yeah.
He had a shot all the way up to that point.
Right.
You know, we were good and consistent all year long, but there's always somebody there, you know, and we did what we had to do, and my guys did a great job. My sponsors backed me, and, you know, like they do today. And yeah, I don't think there was, when you're going for a championship, I don't think you're ever really comfortable with anything, because, you know, then you start thinking about truck breaking down on the way to the races.
Right.
You know, all the stupid stuff that can happen too.
Absolutely.
Another fan question for you, Jason. This one comes from Mike Green. He says, you won the Johnny Key Classic in 2007, and being a guy that went to San Jose so much growing up, how important is that win to you?
That was a big win too. You know, you look at, I look at, you know, my big wins, and obviously the Outlaw win was big, and the Johnny Key win was big too. You know, because growing up, going to the Speedway, and, you know, knowing who Johnny Key was, and knowing the prestige that everybody put into winning those races at San Jose Speedway, and then, you know, obviously again the names that are on that trophy are pretty big. So any race, any memorial race like that you are connected to is forever is a big win.
We've got an expanded schedule for 2013. You know, 28 races. We're in Nevada, which isn't too far from here. I think you're the closest California driver to the Fernley Fallon tracks. What kind of goals are you setting up for yourself and your team this year? And win. That was the answer to that next question.
You know, I just want to win some races. It's, you know, my sponsor deserves it. My guys deserve it. I think we got a program that we can do it with, and we just need to concentrate on wins and, you know, to go back to the top 5 in points thing. I think if we do that, the points kind of fall into place. It's going to be tough. You know, you got a lot of fast cars. Allard, you know, with Kyle running one of the beef packer cars, and Brent and Willie and, you know, everybody. I mean, it's going to be tough.
Now, next up, I wanted to read a quote from Bobby Gerald that I've always thought kind of exemplifies yourself. And Bobby Gerald was quoted saying, Jason Stattler, the 2004 Golden State Challenge King of California, or King of the West, whatever you want to call it, is a driver I admire for his tenacity and toughness. The large pro football-sized man is a prime example of what a racer can become if he sticks with it. I've seen Jason upside down and on fire. I've seen his knees bend cockpits. But I've never seen Jason Stattler quit. And that's something that I've always respected about you, is you never quit. You always stay at it. And I mean, you've been racing for over 20 years now, and you keep doing it. And you've been an ambassador to us out in California. We just want to thank you for all your support over the years.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's what my parents told me, you know, when we started getting into the racing thing. And they said, well, you know what, if you want to do it, you need to do it 100%. And that's pretty much where it's at. If you want to succeed at something, you got to give 100 to 110% in, and that's kind of the way I try and live my life.
Jason, you know, before we go, you know, DF Rios, we talked about DF Rios, but there's been a lot of people in 20 years that helped you get here. I want to give you the opportunity to thank those folks and you know, for the support they've given you over the years.
Obviously, Dave, first and foremost, I mean, he's, you know, like I said earlier, he's been unbelievable, you know, more than a guy could ask for, really. You know, he's a good friend, he's a great sponsor, and he's a cheerleader when I need it. So that's good. My parents, you know, got me going in this and got me going the right direction. And my wife, my kids, you know, couldn't do it without them. And then you got Yak Graphics, who's been doing our stickers forever, does a great job, makes our car look great. Gaining Performance, all the guys down there, Brent, Brian, BF, Matt, I mean, all them guys, whenever I call down there and need something, they get it to me. Brian's a big help on, you know, helps Mark with shocks and kind of gets us going the right direction when we need it. Obviously, Brent, Willie Croft, Americoat, appreciate his help and everything he does. Riley Collins Body Shop, they do all our paint, you know, they do a great job. Ultra Shield, Rod End Supply, Maxim, Kistler Engines, FK Shocks. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but you know, it takes a lot of people to put a good program together, and you know, to make it go 28 races or 40 races or whatever you got on your schedule. So definitely appreciate everybody's help.
once again, we want to thank you for joining us on King of the West tonight. And all the fans out there, if you ever get a chance, please stop by the 00 pit, talk to Jason, talk to Mark. Everybody on that team is a great group of guys. Go see them.
Hey, welcome back to KWS Tonight. And Gary, I thought it was interesting, Jason talking about the family, going to games with the kid. Takes a little more out of the race prep time.
Right.
But he's making it work.
Yeah, the fire's still there. That competitive fire that Jason's had for so long is still there. And, we talked about he had some bad luck, but just one of the greatest guys in the sport. And he's one of the guys that I think all the fans root for.
Yeah,
each and every night. And, FERNLEY Speedway, it'd be great to see him this weekend if he could get back into victory lane.
Oh, yeah. And I think, like I said, it's a new racetrack. I mean, yeah, it's been there before, but Dan has done so much work to it. I don't think anybody is going to have an advantage.
Teams are asking us what kind of gear they should have.
Like
we know.
We were walking around the pits outside there saying, what kind of gear? Was it like this or like that? I'm going, we're announcers. We don't know anything about gears.
Mechanics.
Yeah. Well, what's a gear? But no, I think the hype, the buzz, we're answering the phones at the office, people wanting to know about FERNLEY, wanting to know about what's going on and where to stay. And I think this is going to be an exciting time for the whole community, Reno Tahoe FERNLEY area, and Dan Simpson wanting to bring big-time sprint car racing back to FERNLEY.
Now, we definitely want to thank Summit Racing Equipment and Sparks for their support during the weekend. This is going to be Summit Racing Weekend at the RTF Speedway, and we talked a little bit about the money on the line. $3,500 to win, $1,000 to start the A main each night.
Each night, absolutely, each night. That's a team can go up there, make the main event both nights, finish dead last, but you can go home with $2,000.
It's getting a lot of interest from around the western United States, and we've had calls from Oregon. Roger Henderson's planning to come down.
When was the last time we saw the seventh?
I think the last time in Oregon probably, but he wants to come down because you can run no mufflers.
Oh, that's right. No sound requirements. So
cork them puppies.
Yeah, that's kind of what he says. That 7N kind of meaningful to you too. I think that's in your email address.
That's my email address. My hero growing up was Steve Kent driving the Henderson car. That's always nice to see Roger and the gang back down in Nevada.
And we're going to see some of the Nevada drivers that we haven't seen yet there. Right. Mike Monahan.
Mark Tabor.
Mark said he might have 2 cars.
That'd be nice.
We might see a couple of drivers in the Tabor machines. And again, a Washington driver.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, I believe, coming down from up there in Ridgefield, Washington.
Yes. Isn't that amazing? FERNLEY is going to be exciting.
It is.
Yeah, and with all the improvements and everything, I think we've got a good weather forecast.
A great weather forecast.
Not going to be too hot. Not going to be too windy. We're gonna have a fun time, I think.
And you document some of the improvements there. I know we had an interview with Dan about a month ago, and you think about new sound system. Really excited to test that out, and new lighting. Of course, the new surface that we've been talking about. So there's been a lot of great improvements there.
And new configuration, and it's not just sprint cars. There's
right.
We got some of the 95 Air Series classes both nights. The hobby stocks, pro stocks, dwarf cars, KWS lights.
I'm excited for that second event there.
Right. If you have not seen the new KWS lights winged sprint cars, a 360 cast iron motor carburetor with a wing, like an Econo sprint.
Yeah, it's kind of like that feeder program a little bit. Yeah, it's an affordable way of getting into wing sprint car racing.
Hey, for more information on this weekend's racing, you can contact the Reno Tahoe FERNLEY Speedway at 775-224-7644. That's 775-224-7644.
And that's the Reno FERNLEY office.
Right. And what if you want tickets?
If you want tickets, you call 775-325-8800. They can set you up with advanced tickets because it's going to be a great weekend. Get your tickets early.
Hey, Gary, where are you going this weekend?
I'll be in FERNLEY, Nevada.
I'll be there too.
Hope to see everyone there. FERNLEY High Banks and the action track of Northern Nevada. Welcome everyone to KWS Tonight. Another exciting day.
I think we got our first blooper for the FERNLEY edition. You may continue now, Gary.
Okay.